Good morning, people of the cardboard, and welcome back to Fun Decks. I've had a morning trying to get this all set up, but it's all worth it because we have the final card for Shaddolls for Tournament World 3, and I think this is actually just the final card for Tournament World 3 at all. I think we've gone a continuous spell for X-Sabers, field spell for Dragoonity, and then I think a normal spell for Constellar. So this should be the last support card for this set. But let's get into it. So it is a continuous spell, which is weird. Shaddolls haven't had that. They do have a field spell that's really bad. No one's ever played it, and it came out like basically its original set or the following set. So let's see. So this is Shaddoll Fusion. Oh, so it is a fusion. Interesting. So it's a continuous spell card. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate either of these cards except Shaddoll monsters. So pretty big lock. They did this with the last Shaddoll, like the Dark Rock one. I think it was Dark Rock. Might have been Earth. Anyway, but it's the one that allows you to fusion when it was sent to the grave by card effect. So this is big. Let's see if it's powerful enough to justify the restriction. So when this card resolves, send one fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. And by the way, I should mention this. This is a retroactive restriction. So if you play this card, you're basically locked in Shaddolls for the entirety of the turn, not just after this card resolves. But this is a huge, huge effect. App Clone lets you search and discard. And theoretically also, you can actually send the Infernoid monster if you want to waste an extra spot, because that can search you the new Void spell that can add 2 Shaddoll cards from deck to hand and then discard one. As long as you have to reveal like a monster in that spell trap or some combination of that. Anyway, so the interesting fact. Let's read the second one. You contribute one fusion monster. Special one Shaddoll fusion monster with a different attribute from your extra deck that's just treated as a fusion summon. If you do, change its attack to 0. The changing attack to 0 doesn't really matter. This is also pretty powerful. So obviously, I mean, Window wouldn't be a great pick here because having 0 attack means you can just normal summon. I think that's why they did it, so you couldn't just use this at the end of your combo to, turn something into a Window. But regardless, I do think this is very powerful just to send like a... Oh, Lori, what's its name? Not Constellar. Why do I want to say that? Can't remember. The light one. The light one that foolishes on summon, or any of the new ones actually are pretty good too. And I think they have a couple negates and stuff as well. So this is a cute card. I think, the restriction is very strong, but I do think what this gives Shaddoll is that it is a starter. And I do think people broadly are probably happy that they're, keeping Shaddolls more pure Shaddoll focused. Just because, if you could splash with the other engines and end up with a Winda just at your end of your combo, it would be very degenerate and not fun. Is it Concert? I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of that Shaddoll Fusion monster. So I think this is very powerful. I think the Foolish is huge. They've given them a couple new tools recently too. The new Wind one that's pictured here in the pack, I think adds a Shaddoll card from grave to hand. The new Towers that requires 3 monsters lets you just, I think, summon a Shaddoll from your graveyard. Then obviously all the classic Shaddolls add cards from grave to hand. And like I've already said, App Clone can search you a Shaddoll. So this is like a very, very powerful starter for the deck. I think it does help them get combos going that they just haven't really had access to. You had to mix them with other engines to send stuff by card effect. So this is very strong. It's also nice that you can send anything. So although you are locked into Shaddolls from the extra deck, if you want to send any extra deck tool, let's say you're going second and you want to send an aggregator, right, as an interruption, you can. So this is very powerful. I think there's also a world if you wanted to play, I know this is weird, wanted to play Dogmanica, you could theoretically play a deck or a card like this if you're not going to use the extra deck anyway. This is just an additional send with no cost. So I think it's very, very powerful. I'd say, if I was to rate this card, I will give it a 4 out of 5 for Shaddolls. It's a very, very powerful starter, and it's a combo extender as well. It can proc if you just summon a fusion, you can tribute it, proc its effect, and tag into a different one. That's very powerful. I know another thing I'm just thinking of is the new Towers that requires 3 cards. It searches on summon, but it's always kind of been weird because you need to dedicate 3 cards to it. Is it something you could reliably summon just to get a search, and now you can kind of avoid that. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's really nifty. I think now it makes more sense. This works well with the existing cards. I think the question just is, is Shaddoll strong enough to be a deck on its own? You know, without mixing other fusion-based decks, does this do enough? I think, you know, people did splash around, like I said before, you know, some of the Dogmatica cards, like playing Maximus just so you can dump Absalom and then get the continuous trap that lets you make a Winda during your opponent's turn. Could something like that exist? And, you know, this kind of suggests it could. I think this supports that. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We've just passed 50 subscribers. Woo, really big deal. If I make 10 times that amount, I can actually start making money. So let's get me there. Thank you. Anyway, that's Fun Deck signing out. Bye.